My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
My name is Prentice.
And my name is Butta. What's up, y'all?
What's happening, my people? We in this joint, making it do what it does, bringing it to you live like it is what it was. Fellas, what's happening? What's going on? Butter, what's good? Check in, B.
Yo, so much is good, man. Like I'm excited. I'm really I had a wild day, man. I went downtown to do some work in Soho at our office. And one of my guys who does like on the street interviews and stuff was like, "Yo, I'm in the neighborhood. You need to come out and say what's up." And I was like, "All right." And went downstairs and ended up performing live on the street twice. And it was fire.
New
It
York
was like
City.
really, really dope. And I was like, "Yo, this is bug. This is brother by the name of Ari at home. He has like a whole system. Young white dude has like keyboard and all that. He walks around
I know
and
you
he just
talking about.
so he and I did something. Myself, him, Chaz, we all got together and like we rocked. It was cool. It was real cool. I was like, "Yo, this is bunker." And I initially said no.
That's dope.
I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that, dog." And then it became like a thing. It was really fire. Like it was really, really fire. Mad grateful. Mad grateful.
That's what's up. P, something tells me I need to let you go last. So I'm gonna go first.
All right.
I, not much over here, man. The kids are good. My baby was a little ill yesterday, but he all right. Mia started her high school softball season officially started on Monday, just started practicing and whatnot. So I'm excited to see how that does because she's gonna be playing varsity. And this is when the stats really count.
Mhm.
So I'm just
Mhm.
waiting to see how that turns out. I was given this cool ass fidget pen as a part of a workshop I was doing. It got a light at the end and it spin around, and I'm like addicted to it. Like,
That look crazy.
nah, but it's a cool little gadget for sure. I spent a lot of time this afternoon downstairs in my basement, man. I'm trying to turn my basement into a space where we can record at, or we can get down and do some things. So I went and put some paneling up today. Gonna put this poster up tomorrow, get the floor done, and just just make it a space where it's usable. My basement is the size of my whole house, and
Mhm.
it ain't being used. So I'm like, let me make the best of some space here. I'm gonna do one half. I'm gonna do like the podcast space, and the other half I'll turn into a little maybe a little workout room or something, man, where I don't gotta go nowhere or whatever. But
Oh, that's
it's about
fire.
time to do something. So yeah, man. Outside of that, I'm chilling. So I think next week I'll probably be in the recording space now to just kind of give it a new look. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there. But I'm excited, man. So all that is good. P, I'm a mute. I'm gonna take myself off screen, but I'm listening, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't got much. The weather in California is exactly what we're paying for. It's been like 85 to 90 degrees every day. Got me ready for summer. Uh Tahir started AAU basketball, which is a whole different fucking world that I have not been exposed to until last weekend, man. These parents be wilding, trying to live through their kids. Half of these kids is trash, ain't even good. It's just a whole different world, man. And I'm fearful. Uh, I'm fearful for my integrity, man, because I just watch so many parents just talking shit from the sidelines to these kids, emotional referees, emotional coaches. And I just keep thinking to myself, if one of these parents say the wrong thing to my kid and don't just let him play, we're gonna have a problem. But I didn't have any problems, but some other parents did. But it was a new experience, and it definitely wasn't what I thought it would be. I think I had like higher expectations of AAU. But it kind of seems like a money grab in a sense. You know what I'm
A
saying?
lot of
Like I
it
know
is.
that
A lot of it is.
I know that I mean obviously, people go there and there's really talented kids, but I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think I got what I was expecting. But he enjoys it, which is the most important thing. He made the travel team, um, and now it's back. We had a 2 weekend break from volleyball for Naya, so we back to volleyball this weekend. So I got to pick one now. You know what I mean? Like if I ain't doing volleyball, I got to go to basketball. If I'm not doing basketball, I mean, obviously, I got to get a night where she's going. I got to take
Couples,
her.
hey blood, couples I know split it, man. Book them, we can split it. Like
Right, right. No,
so I gotta
his
go. So I
mom
gotta
is.
go support to here. You gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I gotta rotate that thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, luckily, his mom is down to do whatever. She's does really good with co-parenting, man. So she already knows the deal. So that's not an issue at all. But yeah, other than that, everything's straight, man. Sarai birthday coming up, Shy birthday coming up. So just about to go broke.
I
That's about
know
it.
what that's like. AOP. Last episode, man, I had this epiphany, bro, and I just feel like it's a beautiful thing. I want to write an all black men need therapy book. The four of us.
Mm.
Just anecdotal stories from our lives, just various chapters of it. And I think it'll be well just to for the men to read our stories and see themselves in them. And we can talk about the story, talk about how it impacted us and how we healed from it, or what it took to heal from, or how long it took for heal from. I don't know what the structure would be, but I think it would be super, super powerful if we all put 3, 4 stories in there and just kind of spread them out and just let the people read them. And I think it'd be super, super, super dope.
That's a dope idea, man. I don't think I've ever taken the time to tell my story outside of a poem. So that would be
I
a
mean,
challenge for me.
it could even be that, you know what I'm saying? But just
Nah,
a
I
little bit
definitely
more.
wouldn't want to. I'd want to just write. You know what I mean?
I mean, dude, I don't know why, but I really I got just the first note in my notepad today, like, and the one thing I put was year first, like that's gonna be your one of your chapters, man. I really feel like it's gonna be. I think it could be super, super dope, man. I'll
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna put together an outline of just kind of what we can talk about, maybe like a template of what the chapter should look like, maybe just so there's some cohesion between us all, and then let's tell our stories, bro. I really do feel like the people would gain a lot of insight from these stories. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I
you to
can
say, I find
go ahead.
myself saying stuff that I usually wouldn't say people after being a part of this podcast.
Hmm.
Say that
Like
again.
I've been sharing parts of my story that I don't share with anybody. As a direct result, I know it's because of the healing and the work that we do on this podcast that I'm
Yeah,
able to navigate with people, like saying to a class of juniors who are figuring their lives out. I was like, I had a 1.9 GPA. I want you to understand that nobody was invested in my life when it came to my education.
Mhm,
I had one person on my team except for my siblings. Mom didn't care, dad didn't care, and I was struggling because I had a learning disability that nobody diagnosed.
mhm. Yeah,
But
so
saying that to some students who are like, "Well, I don't know," and we late, I was like, "We didn't get to turn in our work late." So I would love to talk about the journey of education and the struggle that has been and what it's been for me being somebody who's neurodivergent and learning how to learn.
Mm.
It's a very different conversation.
no, it definitely is, man. And again, those are stories that we can tell. I think in general, what this has done for me, though, bro, I sit in such comfort and vulnerability now. It's insane.
Mhm.
Like it's crazy. Like, and again, P, a lot of it can be still surface level, but it ain't what bros is talking about. Like
It
I'm
ain't.
very
I don't
comfortable.
think anything about what we're doing at this point is surface level, even when it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember we used to skate? I forgot what it was, but or right after quarantine, I forgot the topic. I forget what we was talking about, but you and I specifically, we would skate on this subject. I think it was about conflict with the mother of our children, something we
Hmm.
didn't get in depth
Yep.
about. But even when we were skating there, man, that was more than I think. That was a challenge. You know what I'm saying? I feel like anything that's a challenge that we talking about, it ain't skating on the surface. You know what I mean? Like we just digging as far as we can in that moment.
That's real.
No, yeah, yeah. But I think again with the evolution of the podcast and these conversations, like we've taken just putting another piece out of the bag every episode
Yup.
until it's like, bruh, just open it up, dump it out, and you know what I'm saying, dump it out and let the folks figure it out. It's been a dope journey. And again, remember, like, it was not too long ago, maybe like a year ago, somebody asked me what I was most proud of, and I was like, I'm proud of the man that I've become, like the
Mm-hmm.
healing I've done. I don't look at certain situations the same at all, like
Yup.
at all. I remember something happened. I think a dude got out of pocket one day and said something a little disrespectful, and I just kind of like and walked it off. And it was just like, oh, you working,
Hmm.
you working, because I'd have slapped the shit out of him not too long ago. Like
Right.
it'd have been a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? It was a chuckle, and it was like, you don't even got to address that.
Yeah.
Walk away, and it felt awesome. And then just in terms of like, I'm catching myself now in like relationship type things where, the stubbornness might have kicked in or the pride kicked in or not listening well enough, and like, oh yeah, I heard what you said, and my response to what you said is now different. Like I'm really catching myself in it. So it's a lot of thanks to y'all. A lot of healing and preparation for this next step for me is embedded in me now, and it's just a matter of putting it to practice when the time happens.
That's what's up, man.
No, for sure. And I mean, I guess we can transition right there because we're talking about, when it happens. So when I get me a lady and I'm able to pour all these lessons into, with this still being Women's History Month, I thought we could finish the conversation we had about women and whatnot. There's some pretty cool questions I had at the end of the thing that I thought would be interesting for us to tap into. I just noticed I didn't put my ring light on, so let me turn my light on so I can shine up in this joint.
That's your celebrity light.
Yeah, people I'm a little dark. You know what I'm saying?
I think one of y'all got some sound going on in the background that's picking up.
Yeah, butter.
Oh,
He in the office.
oh.
Anywho, so yeah,
I'm
P,
with,
you wanna?
not in the office, but I'm with family.
Oh, okay,
It's
All good.
crazy. It's crazy.
no doubt. Yeah, so keep it muted to you unless you're talking, because people don't be like wanting to hear that. So one of the questions I have, fellas, in regards to the ladies, 'cause again, we wanted to take this time to make sure we honored women in this month of acknowledgement, and not that we don't honor them at all times, but we wanted to make it specifically for this month just to show our appreciation. And I hope you guys feel validated, important, and feel like and understand that we love y'all. So we want to dedicate this issue to y'all, this episode to y'all again, and just talk about our appreciation for you, and maybe some of the things we never understood or don't understand or whatever. So one of the questions I had was, when did you realize that women experience the world differently than you do? And I think it was a realization for me, and I'm just super. I can't pinpoint it, but I like you start to realize like that we are from two different planets, and I think this conversation would help them to kind of see a little bit of our perspective and maybe help them realize how we see it. So, P, you want to open up the door on that one? When did you realize that women see the world differently than you do?
I don't think I ever have, man. I think I've just heard that conversation about women. Like, I think I've just been used to hearing men talk about how different women are in the cliche ways. But I don't know if I ever had a moment that made me be like, damn, they see the world differently. I know I've been taught how to view them and taught how to treat them and told how to respect them. And it may be selfish on my part, to tell you the truth. It may not be. I don't think I had any ill intent, but I've never had a moment that made me be like, damn, they see things differently. Because to me, it's I don't know. It's kind of always been obvious. You know what I mean? That we just ain't the same. So it's like one of them unspoken things, kind of. I ain't had no like incident that was like an epiphany. Like, oh shit, um, I need to I need to rewire my train of thought because she just made me realize that women, they just see things differently. I ain't never heard that.
That's fair. Maybe as we get into the conversation, someone will kick in. But Butter, what you got?
I don't know. I'm like P. I don't know if I've said it like that, but I do remember thinking, "Wow, women tell us how they feel. We tell them what we think." Like a lot of times, women will communicate a deep feeling, and will communicate or convey a deep thought.
Mm.
And sometimes the conversation is, "I want more from you," and then I've seen brothers be really vulnerable with their women, and the women go, "That's too much."
Mm.
because they are clear, because so many have had to operate in their masculine. I even had a woman say, "Can we bring toxic masculinity back?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, I just don't want my man like crying at the end of the day." And I was like, "Dang." I was like, "I got it." But
Yeah.
I found that like women will pour their hearts out to us with ease, and it's so much work for us to even tell them what the day was like.
Yeah, we've talked about that. And I think what happens is at one point or another in our past and our current relationships or whatever, that safe space has been violated. And I firmly believe, I'm speaking for myself from experience, via my own personal experience and the observation of others. Once that safe space is violated, we'll still love you. We'll still do the things we're supposed to do to protect and provide, but we're not going back there. Once you've thrown it back into our face, once you've talked about something we've shared with you and made light of it, it's a wrap. We just no longer confide in you anymore. We go to the bros and we'll have that conversation with my guy, but I'm not sitting down with you telling you this, that, and the third anymore because the last time I did, you made fun of it. You laughed at me when I cried. What you gonna do? Cry about it? You know what I'm saying? Or you're sensitive ass like that. And that right there, okay, bet. So now I'm not allowed to be that anymore because you've now closed off that safe space. And I don't think a lot of women understand when they do that because it happens in moments of tension, in those moments of bitterness and argument or whatever the case may be. Something simple slips out. And of course they didn't mean it. It happened in the moment, emotional responses, whatever. We may forgive, but there's no forgetting. Like, yeah, that incident is done. We can still, cohabitate and coexist, but you've just violated our safe space and I'm never going back there.
Well, I think if the safe space has been violated, then the relationship is on a timer. Because if you can't forgive and move on from that place, then if the relationship has just kicked in, it's like, okay, is expiration date is starting to get closer. I have a question though. It well when I think about this conversation of like women being so different than men, um, do you ever find do you ever find that what does disrespect look like to you when it comes to like your relationship to like your woman? Like what do you see as disrespect? The reason why I say that because I've heard women call their men bitches. Like don't be a bitch.
Mm.
How do you all feel when women um engage in that way with their men?
Mhm. Uh, I don't think that's ever. I don't think that's ever been a scenario I had to deal with. Um, I think I felt emasculated through my vulnerability. You know what I mean? Like I feel like those moments she didn't say it, and I'm obviously not talking about Sarai. Let me make that clear. But I'm saying she is in like women in my past overall in general. They didn't say use a bitch, but during moments that were rough or tough or hard for me to be vulnerable or share my thoughts or feelings or scary, they didn't respect the effort in the moments. And I think that can hit deeper for some of us than just being called a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I could call you a bitch right back, and now we just running on insults. But when you do something that's uncomfortable and that you've been taught is not necessarily the typical way to handle yourself or express yourself as a man, and it's not received by this quote unquote safe space, I think that can feel really like emasculating, more than being called a bitch by a woman.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, I don't
Because you feel weak. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
after you do that shit and it ain't received, it's like, damn, now I feel like a bitch. I feel like a sucker. I feel like a you know what I mean? Like I feel soft or weak. Like that shit didn't even work. What the fuck am I doing this for? Now you got the conflict of having to mentally man up and put yourself back in this masculine pocket. And like if you somebody like me, you want to go back there and be vulnerable. So then you try again and that shit don't work again. Or you try with somebody else and it don't work with her neither. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Like, what's the point of it?
Yeah. And that within itself can just be a whole conversation of being called a bitch in your own head.
Damn.
Yeah, it's valid. I don't think I've experienced that type of. I don't know. I mean, I think a woman calling her man a bitch can be emasculating. Um, I don't think I've experienced that type of toxicity.
Hmm?
I do. Yeah, I don't think even. Yeah, I don't think it's ever. I've never been called a bitch. Been
That's
called all,
surprising.
been called all kind of other shit. But like,
Right. It didn't
you know
hit
what
the
I mean?
same?
Um, not necessarily. I wasn't necessarily. I was never really one to like fight fire with fire
Mm-hmm.
in that sense. Like, I'm not like a hit below the belt type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just oh, you want to talk your shit? Bet you ain't got nobody to talk to now because I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
So my shit was okay. You want to talk your shit? Guess where I'm at for the next 3 days. That was my way of like handling the disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to do that, or not 3 days, but like I would leave for hours at a time and be like, you know what I mean? Now you don't know where I'm at. I'm not answering no phone calls. Like, figure this shit out. So now you stressing. You know what I'm
You
saying? So
went
now,
from you went from 72 hours, maybe like 2.5,
nah,
3.
it wasn't like 3 days, but I definitely have gone for like half a day, just slide,
Yeah.
go hoop, do whatever, play some ball or whatever, and then come back home. And then if the tone was still high, we not having a conversation about I'm going to sleep. Like I wasn't one to necessarily navigate a conversation in the midst of yelling. That shit just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
would always escape it. But then I heard this quote, but I don't know if you were here for the episode. But the quote was, "Those who think everything is an argument lack communication skills, and those who think everything is an attack lack accountability." And I was like, well, I don't think everything is an attack because I can take accountability for what I do. But I definitely felt like whenever a voice was raised, I'm not about to argue with you. And it's like I had to sit back and go, for someone who communicates for a living, you mean to tell me I'm not a good communicator? And I had to sit back and be like, maybe you're not. If you can't communicate in the midst of tension, are you really a good communicator?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to sit back with that and be like, damn, like that's crazy. Like it
Mm-hmm.
really took a minute to like self-assess and read that quote and apply it to myself. Like I can take accountability, but again, when things got hot, when voices got raised, in my head, it wasn't a moment of passion or whatever. It was, oh, this person can't communicate, so I'm just gonna leave until they learn how to communicate better than me. I was like, well, nigga, she trying to, but you're not listening because you worried about how she sounds versus what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? So that for me, it was a big lesson for me to learn. So now I've grown comfortable in not necessarily. I'm still not getting barked at, but I've learned how to articulate. Like you can speak to me, and we don't yell. Like I've learned how to navigate that conversation to kind of bring it back down so we can have a respectable conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you feel like you've learned to do that, have either of you ever can you identify without naming names uh women that you think you might have impacted in a particular way that was deemed either negative or toxic? And if you could say anything to them today to like encourage them or forward them, being that it's Women's Month, how would we lift those women up?
Uh,
Ooh, that's an interesting one. So the one person that comes to mind, I can definitely say that I played my part in the level of toxicity, and then I also learned of a variety of different things that they were dealing with that also added to that. So it's hard to decipher whether or not, like, I'm one to take total blame. In this particular case, I can't because the shit that I learned was like, whoa, that's traumatic. I can understand why you responded the way you did because of what you experienced. So it all makes sense to me. But I definitely didn't do anything to make that any better.
mhm.
So I think, just like I told you the story about reading the quote and self-assessing, I would love to implore women to just, we got to hit the mirror first. We are not perfect. I think most men learn our lessons from you all. Like a lot of the lessons we learn come from, hurting women, unfortunately, or just being in a relationship that didn't work out. And we learn these lessons and it helps us to move forward. However, I think what happens in many of those cases is, from my experience, I've walked away and had the finger pointed at me versus the acknowledgement, like I just said, like I know I played my part. You know what I'm saying? So that, there's the jokes on TV, the commercial where they're unveiling the word accountability and asking the women to read and like, oh, like I don't know what that, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's a real thing in the eyes of a man, and I think it would be astronomically beneficial to just take a moment to process your own feelings and try to learn what you don't know about yourself in order to see why you're showing up the way you are, because that's the work we're doing here. We're holding each other accountable, going, yo, I see this in you and you may not see it, but I need you to kind of develop on that because this is how you're showing up. And we're going, oh wow, I never noticed that. Now I'm listening, maybe I can, change. But I think, again, to that part, those who think everything is an attack lack accountability. When I go, listen, you showed up like this. Oh, you think it's like, well, no, I'm just telling you how I perceived it, and but it's an attack. So it's perceived as an attack. So there's that lack of accountability there, and I think I think being open to learning the hard truths about ourselves can only make us that much better of a person. And when you find when you ask a man to soften up or to level up in his emotional intelligence, and he now is at that part where you ask him to be, and he discloses those feelings, so you have to be willing to accept that and hear what he's saying, because you can't tell him he needs to be softer and then when and more emotionally intelligent, and when he does find that place and now starts to communicate the thing you asked him for, you're offended. It doesn't necessarily work that way, or that's what I've experienced. So
I think of two women specifically, both of whom I have children with. One of them, I think my behavior and the way I ended that relationship was a result of toxic behavior that I didn't recognize I had. And if I reflect on it, I feel that uh, I'm reminded of that through her parents not acknowledging my presence since I left her. You know what I mean? Like I've seen her pops last weekend at the AAU game, and that man will not speak to me, won't acknowledge my presence. And I think sometimes your behavior has reminders, right? Like I gotta own that I did his daughter dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't cool at all. So that's like a forever reminder of that toxicity. So what I do on my accountability level is I make sure I operate and conduct myself with her in a very stand up, mature manner. You know what I'm saying? Like I make sure that I speak correctly. I make sure I communicate as best as I possibly can. But most importantly, that I treat our son well. You know what I mean? That I just love on our child. Because that's all I can do. So there's nothing I can say, but just treat our baby right. The other one, um, I have absolutely no regrets for any toxic behavior I've shown. And I actually feel vindicated by the behavior that I showed, the toxic nature of behavior, when I woke up and realized how toxic she was. You know what I mean? I feel like I could have did worse. You know what I mean? Like I could have did way worse. And I think most importantly now, what I would say is that that toxic behavior was pulled out of me, and I find gratitude in knowing how low I can actually go so that I can make choices now to decide whether I want to be that version or not in this chapter of my life. Not only that, um, I'm reminded of that toxicity just in pure sight or brief interactions, and it's nothing that I want. So it's a good reminder to me how far I've come and how far some people have not. So on one end, with one person I think about, it's like, okay, you fucked up. You're gonna have to own it in certain ways that are out of your control as reminders. And on the other side, for me, it's like that's what the fuck you get. So I got two sides of the coin. To just one I take accountability, the other one I'm like, oh well.
I get it. I,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
I get it.
I
I
get it.
know. I think of my ex-wife and how um deeply toxic she was, but I also recognize that I may not have been the softest place to land for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was done, I was done.
Mm-hmm.
Even to this day, I don't really have any real communication with her. I have no desire to speak to her, and
Mm-hmm.
she's cool with my soulmate. So
Mm-hmm.
and even that relationship has changed. I just find myself like I'm finding that the best love that I can sometimes give some of the women in my life is goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my gift to you is not being in your presence.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because I feel like that's the highest form of love, the highest form of chivalry is by not taking you down or to a place that definitely didn't work for either of us. But I'm still processing like convenient ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can remember what you think I did, but you can never remember what you did. And
Mm-hmm.
to keep loving you, I have to keep a level of distance for myself to love you across the street. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
always respect you. I'm always gonna be kind. I'm gonna honor you as a woman and somebody's child, to your point, P. But I'm also like, I don't get to be the doormat, and you can't be the victim and the volunteer of the relationship that you were a part of.
Very good point.
Right? Like you help participate in this. But when I think about what women have gone through and stuff like that, I don't think, as much as I love honoring women, especially this month, how much honoring are we doing around, mental health for women? What does that look like if you're raised in a toxic space
Mm-hmm.
to create what you perceive as love, and then on top of that, biological clocks are ticking. You should have been married by this age. Da 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 da. And then without meaning to, women bring that into the relationship, and now it's pressure on you for her biological. I should have been pregnant by now. I told you when we met I didn't want kids. It's that kind of like, what are those societal pressures that we put on women? And now, as we celebrate them for this month, I think it was Chief wrote a piece about, at 2 a.m. 3 a.m. he felt like he was touching God, and I was just like, wow, that's really true. Um, but I've also met women with God complexes, so
Mm-hmm.
and I've met people who wanted to share that kind of love, and I've met others who were like competing,
Mm-hmm.
for that seat. So when I think about this month, I think about honoring every iteration of woman, from my mom who she was to my sister who was a rider.
Mm-hmm.
My sister rode for me, but she also was knocking dudes out.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I'm clear, her hands were bisexual for sure.
It's
So go ahead, P. You had
I was
something?
gonna say, it's an interesting thing, man. I was thinking what you were just saying, but like I can see God in all women. Like I absolutely can. You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing to still be able to identify God, even ones that you dislike. I can see God in all of them. But the problem is, like you said, like some of them do have a God complex, and I don't want to turn this into a conversation when we talk about honoring women, where it's like I'm speaking negatively, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I think that's just the statement that Butter made just made me realize like how I can still see God in all women. Um, for me, I think it's just a matter of whether or not they see it in themselves and they utilize that godness correctly or for betterment or for good, or if they abuse it. You know what I mean? I think there's a difference. But shout out to all women, man, because I see God in all of them.
For sure. So to my point about like us learning the most valuable lessons from them, this young lady who I kicked it with for a while, and I think one of my issues is I don't let go when I should. I kind of just let it linger a little bit,
Of a
and not
woman or let go of an issue?
of a woman.
Okay.
I don't let go when I should and let it linger. And I think what happens in what has happened in the past is that I've shut off my lycometer. I liked you. I realized that we're not gonna go to the next level, but I'm gonna keep knocking it down every now and then. And I'm keeping the party going. I answer the phone when you call.
Mm.
I'm still, I still listen to you. I'm still, you can bounce things off me, whatever. But what I realize now is that all that's doing is allowing. I mean, I've been very candid with, listen, I don't think this is going to work, and I'm a step back, and they hear me. But being that I'm still available, I'm still accessible, it leads to the false hope or whatever. So now they've still developed, they're in more like, and I've already shut that door down. So what I learned was, it was this one particular young lady where, she wanted to see me, and maybe I told her I would and I didn't, or I told her I couldn't, and it would, certain things would happen, and she would like cry, and I'd just be like, yo, like, why are you crying? Like, in my head, it's not that serious, but again, I've been essentially leading this woman on or giving her hope when I did make my claim, but actions speak louder than words, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, Shorty told me, like, I'd rather you had just ghosted me than
Mm-hmm.
still being available to me. Like, the ghosting is like, that's childish. Like, I told you how I felt. I thought we were clear, but again, how I showed up spoke differently. And what ended up happening was she built like a resentment for me because, like Butter said, I wasn't a soft place for her to land.
Mm-hmm.
So when she came crying, I wasn't trying to hear why she was crying because I was already done. Like, yeah, what are you crying for? You know what I'm saying? But it was one of them things where, like, again, I was super insensitive because I had shut down that door and I didn't look at it in romantic aspect anymore. So it was just like, yo, I don't understand why we're here. Like, you already know what it is. But again, me being available, me opening that door, me still being kind and gentlemanlike, it spoke differently. And she did a whole like think piece about your boy online, and subliminally, but like was frying me,
Mm-hmm.
frying me. But then I learned, like, in the process of that, because I reached out, like, yeah, I had a feeling what you were saying was about me. Like, I knew it was about me, and she's like, it's funny you reach out to me, you don't even think to apologize, and like went in on me, and I'm just like, almost like, damn, you didn't even give me a chance. But then was like, yeah, I don't wish you well at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wish well for your kids, but not you. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
they'll go there. They'll
I'm
go
like,
there.
wow. I'm like super duper angry, but I'm like, I guess I get it. And I just backed away from it. But it was like, it was a learning curve for me because I think men tend to take advantage of the kindness of women's hearts and not realize the damage we're doing until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be kind of fucked up. But
Yeah, our accessibility can be selfish. But
right.
we think you know what I'm saying? We think the fact that we so accessible, we being some type of gentleman, and understandably so, but I think there's a lot of selfishness in remaining accessible to certain people, um, for whatever our reason is, you know what I mean? Or even if we think we protecting them, sometimes, like you said, the greatest gift you can give somebody is your absence, your removal from their life.
Mhm. And
You know what I
it's
mean? But I
it's
also think like we build character by staying around and adjusting like that too. You know what I mean? Like I can't put that all the way on us. Like doing that.
so that was my next point, P. Like, I'm taking responsibility for me, but in that secondary conversation, post post the think piece online, I'm sitting back going, oh, this is bigger than Chief. Like, Shorty, you might want to get some of that looked at, because the way she was spazzing was like, baby girl, like, this was moons ago. You done had 2-3 different relationships since me,
Yeah.
and it's still this disdain and this tension coming at me, and it's like, I own my part, but I'm sitting back going, damn, like, she sounds like she could probably benefit from a little bit of, what I'm saying, from a little bit of conversation. But I didn't say nothing. I just kind of ate it and left, and left her feeling maybe she felt vindicated, and that was cool for me. But I'm sitting back going, yeah, like, I did my damage, but baby girl, like this, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think too the part that's interesting to me is I'd rather you had ghosted me, suggests that she also knew something was awry, but in her own cowardice she couldn't leave.
Yeah, there's
Hmm.
no awry, but I was very clear on what I said.
Well, it wasn't, and what I'm offering is that it wasn't just like up to the point that it's yours. Like you get to be accountable, but I don't think anyone well, there are some people I guess who are doing that, but when I talk to you all, I don't hear this activation of intentionality around wanting to break a woman.
No,
But I
Yeah.
also hear
that's the whole
that,
impact versus intent versus impact versus intent thing that Bell talks about all the time too.
yeah, but and it's also you weren't the only one that stayed long, so did they.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like as much as you can identify your own toxicity, it's really when we can't identify ourselves. That's why I asked about those kind of women, because those women who you may have hurt or you feel like you may have impacted in a way that wasn't helpful for them, because I think the way you honor women is by speaking to the whole experience, right? Because we can talk about, thank you for, raising our children and da 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 da, but thank you for getting up when you could have stayed down too, right? And then as you all were talking, I was like, wait, these brothers are raising young women.
Mm-hmm.
How would you want your daughter to be celebrated for Women's International Month? Like, what are you instilling? What values are you instilling in them that maybe you can share even in this moment that would really forward like other women raising women, or maybe even speak to the little girl in them. Like I tell my nieces who are hyper independent, don't be so independent that you miss out on the experience that you say you want. And the moment you emasculate, like another way to P's point that you emasculate a man is by removing his ability to provide. The moment you remove his ability to provide, you ain't got him. So I tell my nieces, like, when your dude come over, what's the first thing he grab? Right? If he don't grab you, he grab the remote. Ask him for a little bit of the cable money. Let him feel like he's contributing. Don't ask him ever to pay your rent or the mortgage. He gonna want a key if you ain't ready for that. But you want to put him in a position where he can provide. And the way you do that too, when y'all go out to dinner, you grab the check. He's gonna fight you for it. But there's a part of him that's like, damn, thank you. Because I might not have had it today.
And again, I don't think women understand how valuable and important that one night is for us.
What?
It
Is it
don't. I mean, bro, it can be 50, 50, what is it, 12 dinners a year. Just that one that you pay for. Some of them couples only got that one night a week, one night a month we go out because we got busy lives. That one night that you decide to be like, I got this tonight, babe. That shit makes a world of a difference for us. Like, we got it too, but just for you to be like insistent on it, and just it's a reciprocity of love. It's a reassurance that of concern and care. Like, that shit matters, man. We don't need it, but it really does. It just shows a different level of concern and care and desire and love and want and lust and all that good stuff for us. That reciprocity is so important, man. So important. It's never about the money.
Mhm.
Never. Like the gesture in
Yeah.
itself and all the intangibles behind it is what speaks to us.
Yeah. It's really removing the whole Jurassic Park experience at the table. You know how like when people become dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
their hands get real small and shit, and they can't get the check, like they can't even lean on the check good. Now, but back to my original question. What are you all sharing? What are some things that you're sharing with your daughters around like being able to celebrate themselves, but also teaching other people to honor that the women that they're becoming? They're young ladies, but as they become like women, what are some things that you might be sharing or you may not have looked at
Cool.
that you would want different from them than some of the experiences of the women you've seen? Because you're not just dating women, there are also women who've come to you for advice.
I think there's obviously that intentionality behind implementing lessons that help prepare her for her future self. But I think at this point right now, there's a lot of my effort goes into confidence and leadership right now. Like, Bubba is one of the, like, you can see the insecurities, but I think she's in a place now where she's kind of faking it till she makes it. She's got some in her, but like her confidence is there, and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm watching her now because she's playing varsity softball at her school. She's a freshman, and she's like leading. Like, I watched her today. I just sat back and literally watched her at practice, her and my niece, and they were just like a freshman and a sophomore, and they're the ones doing all the talking. They're the ones, anytime a girl makes a play, okay, period. Like just really boosting the team up and around. I'm watching her lead, and I'm watching her display confidence and empower that confidence in other people. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's literally started with me making her, and this was when she was young, making her correct people when they called her Maya instead of Mia.
Mhm.
Like don't let people mispronounce your name. And now she's at a point now where it happened, but literally when she was probably like 2, 3, 4, like whenever somebody called her Maya, I made her correct them and not me. And I think that's just a space of empowerment and getting her to speak up for herself and so on and so forth. And like today, she came to me today, but I swear to you, and she was talking about how she spoke to one of her teachers. She didn't like the way he spoke to her, and I said, "Do I need to pull up in there?" She goes, "No, Dad. I'm gonna go talk to him again tomorrow when nobody's around." But he been giving everybody an attitude, but I'm gonna take care of that. And I'm just like, that's what you want. You ain't gonna be nobody's punching bag. You want somebody to advocate for herself, and when they get it twisted, call your dad. You know what I'm saying? So that's just confidence and leadership are two things that I'm really putting into because those things will last a lifetime.
For me, it's a really interesting phase because Anaya's mom talks a lot of shit about me as a man. She
To Anaya?
uses, yeah, to Anaya. She uses me as an example of what a good man is not. Um, and Anaya shares these stories with me. You know what I mean? She'll tell me, "Do you think a man should be doing what your dad's doing in this place, did that place?" So, but the blessing is that I am all she knows as a man. I'm all she knows. Her mother doesn't have a man in her life and has never had anybody consistent since me. So I'm, and this is the only child outside of Shy where there isn't another man in my child's life and hasn't been since damn near birth. So I look at it as a blessing because now what I use to answer your question, but it is my flaws, right? So I'm in a situation where
Mm.
somebody is constantly telling my daughter what a man is not. I get to ask my daughter, okay, so what you're being told about this man, me, does this match your experience? No. Okay. All you can go off is your experience when it comes to people. So what I'm doing is prepping my daughter for hearing things about men versus what she sees and experiences with them, right? I think that's the key right there. It's like, okay, what are you experiencing with this individual? And people in general, if it doesn't match with what somebody else is saying, how much of that do you take with you in your interaction with this individual? You know what I mean? And being able to counter a lot of the things she's being told, but also volunteer some of my flaws because I'm at a space with my daughter, with Anaya, where I am so confident and comfortable in the job that I'm doing as a father. Like, I'm so proud of myself for all the volleyball games, all the everything, the casual conversations. The She went to a concert with her mom last night. This made me so proud. But she went to a concert. I put it in my story. She went to a concert with her mom last night to go see Mariah the Scientist, and she sent me one video. And the video of was during the intermission, and Larry June was playing, and she was rapping the words. And she done grown up to Larry June because of me. That's my favorite artist. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a while she with her mom and she thinking of her daddy because she listening to his favorite rapper at an intermission. So I have this relationship with my daughter where now it's like I feel so confident. It's like, okay, let me teach her through my flaws. Okay, like baby, I'm still working on this. I'm really not good at this right now because I know what she sees is a good man. And I also know she's being challenged by somebody else about how good of a man that she sees is. You know what I mean? So her mama talking bad about me as what I am as a, and I mean bad, bro. But it's so outrageous that it doesn't affect me, but it's also kind of allowed me to play chess. Like, okay, if this is what I have to deal with, rather than getting emotionally involved over on that end, which I can't do, let me figure out how to flip this. Okay, let's talk about some real flaws that your daddy has. Or let me just explain to you certain things that are going on while I'm being fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like I'm an amazing daddy to my daughter. So while I'm amazing, let me throw in some of these flaws so that I prep her as she gets older to be able to one assess for herself because some people are going to say that's a good man, but your experience is going to say the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I want you to rely on that gut and that intuition and what you experience, regardless of which way it's at. I want you to trust your gut. I want you to trust your spirit and your intuition. So whichever way that go with that shit. So I'll be the example, and it's a blessing that I'm not in competition with no other man in her life. I'm not. Her mama don't got nobody. Her mama don't keep no nigga. You know what I'm saying? She got all these uncles. You know what I mean? She got all these uncles, nigga. You know what
So
I'm saying? I'm
that
listening.
Pete, you mentioned like just leading by example, and it's funny. It brought me to a story of my homegirl Slim Tamora. She was actually on the podcast a while ago, but her daughter Sierra. So when I was heavy in the flag football thing for like 10 years, every Sunday all the kids would come to the game with the dads and their moms, and the moms would come support us or whatever. And Sierra was there and hung around all the dudes on our team, and most of them, all of them dudes was good dudes, good dads. So she's in school, or like she's in school, and they're either reading a book or watching a movie about black culture, whatever. And there's a lot of deadbeat dads and whatever, whatever. And she goes to her mom and she's like, "Mom, I don't get it. Like all the people in this book or that we're watching about, I don't know them people. Like I've
Mm-hmm,
never seen them because I'm always around these good dudes." And I'm
mm-hmm,
just and I'm like, and her mom posted about it on Facebook or whatever, and like just like shout out to the young guns for being good, standing example for my baby or whatever. And I'm just like, that shit is so cool because this young lady has grown up, little black girl has grown up around a ton of black men who are doing good things, who are raising children, who are active in these lives. You know what I'm saying? It was just a cool story to hear. And to your point
mm-hmm.
about like just leading by example and the flaws and whatnot, like in terms of prepping her about it, like we go to dinner sometime, and I don't let her be simple. Like,
What
because
you
Mia
mean?
will go there and get a cheeseburger and French fries, but now we're not doing that. You're gonna learn how to order a steak. You're gonna learn how to
Mm-hmm,
get a good meal and test different things on the menu. You're not about to go here and keep getting grilled cheese. You dig
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So and like that's important.
Yeah.
And it's little things that we had a conversation just yesterday. Like, what do you want to eat? And she was like this, and I'm like, good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not
Make a
doing that.
decision.
We're not doing that. Oh, I don't know. Like when the man asks what you want to eat, tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Be decisive, like know what's going on. And she's been good about that. But those are just little things I'm little gems and nuggets I'm throwing at her to help her, to help hopefully prepare her to. I mean, there's obviously things are so much deeper than what she wants to eat, but like I think those are little things that come into play as she starts to age. And if she gets it now, it'll just again make her that much more well-rounded as she grows.
As
Right.
I'm as I'm listening to you all, I wonder how many of the women over our lives that we've engaged, as we're celebrating women, how many of them long to be daddy's girls? Because you all just described daddy's girls.
Mhm.
Just with the willingness to be seen, fully transparent, P.
Mm-hmm.
Chief with the intentionality around lesson. How many of the women have we engaged? Have like I think about the women in my life, and I also look at their relationship to their father, which was not good at all, not even almost.
Mm-hmm.
But they became nurturing women, and as I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh, maybe some of the nurturing was transactional. If I show you how hard I can love, it'll make you love me the way I want you to love me.
But I literally just had this epiphany, bro. I just went down a quick little list, and every woman who has had that toxic or disruptive energy or difficult personality didn't have a good relationship with their dad, or he wasn't present at all. And the one that I can think of who absolutely adores me, who I think is just an awesome human being, has an awesome relationship with her father. Just a great dude. And she's a lot more balanced, approachable, like just she it's nothing like the others. And it's crazy. And not that, there aren't women without that, but like I don't think for the women listening, like if you didn't have your father or a man in your life growing up, I'm pretty certain a lot of that shows up in your dating life, and you may or may not be aware of that. And I would highly implore you to dig into that just to see how you show up, because I'm telling you from personal experience, the women I've dated who didn't have a man in their life have showed up different.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm,
don't know what that different is, but I
mm.
can tell you it is significantly different from. I'm just I'm just thinking of five in my head right now. Different from the
Mm-hmm.
ones who have had a man in their life growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say the same, P?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. One had a good stepdad. Um, and a relationship with the father, but that relationship was
Yeah, but
eh.
having a stepdad there and having a good relationship with him are two different things.
Having a stepdad there and a good relationship with the stepdad, still having a relationship with the biological, but that childhood experience was not the best.
So then
Um,
again, that would probably play into it for sure.
right. And then the other one having a very good relationship with her father, and I was not anything she needed. You know what I'm saying? Like wanted me, didn't need me. You know what I'm saying? And when I was on that fuck shit, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to remove myself. And just like that, removed herself. And then the other one didn't know her father at all and is a hot mess. You know what I mean? Like, been married 5 times and you know what I'm saying? Don't raise her boys and shit like that. But yeah, I can say that I can see the difference in between the women I've been involved with who had present active fathers who they had good relationships with, and the difference between those who did not.
I guess I'm raising that because I think sometimes too, as we look at International Women's Month, though they can learn a lot from their mom, I'm thinking about, because all black men need therapy. I'm wondering how many like I'm so excited about your children because of the version of the man that they get now.
Hmm.
And thank you to the women that came before the women that you have today, right? Like, because you understand this woman. Like when you talk about Soraya, there's a lift in your voice and a height in your. It makes me want to cry.
Hmm.
There's a there's a communication of love
Hmm.
that you never have to say I love her,
Hmm.
but when you talk about her, she has her own space in you.
Yeah.
No kids, no none of that. And I know it's a direct result of hurting, falling down, getting up, healing, and going, oh, that's a high value woman.
Hmm.
Not high value, like high value, but that's high value for you. I
Hmm.
get to value her. And I couldn't help but listen to how y'all talk about, like how you talk about volleyball and showing up for your daughter. And I'm gonna show you me, and I'm gonna own my stuff with you,
Hmm.
because she's gonna be me. They're gonna be looking for men like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to be? What kind of example of husband are you showing your daughters?
Right. And
Right.
she yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing so clearly. So when I'm thinking about celebrating Women's Month, I'm like, yo, dads out there.
Hmm.
I'm
That is
saying
the only.
fathers, like brother.
That is the only. That is the only. Not only, but that is a huge caveat for me, bro. Like, children will emulate what you see. My daughter will know how a man should love her by how I love on her, but she doesn't get to see me loving a woman right now.
Hmm.
And when she gets to experience that, then she'll be able to put it all together
Hmm.
because she can see
And,
me. She can see me loving on a woman in the way the man should.
and conflict with their parent, with her mother.
Ugh. And my daughter's seen both sides. She remembers the weekly arguments we used to have, locked in the room for hours, leaving her and her brother, and we're just screaming and yelling. She remembers the toxicity. On the flip side, here, she's totally grossed out by how affectionate me and Sarai are. And I fucking love it because she saw both sides. It's duality. She saw both sides of me. I don't have to pretend to have a cape on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Like I don't want to. I don't want to mislead her. I don't want to give her false perception because I've dealt with women who are only trying to get with their father, who was a great man. But ain't nobody your motherfucking father. You know what I'm saying? And he may have hidden things. You may have seen things about your great, amazing father, but you are not going to get your father in anybody else.
unless
You
you're willing to be your great mother.
come on, man. And
You can't. You got to match that energy. If you're handing out scripts, because also you got to consider too. We hand out scripts to each other. Playing the
Mhm.
role of my father will be you, or even playing the role of my mother. So if you play the role of that mother, then somebody got to play the role of the father. Because all you're doing is copying the relationship. But listening to you all, I'm fascinated by how fundamentally you all are giving your girls sometimes things that you all didn't get.
Mhm.
Right? I trust that with your sons, it's just a different conversation
It
around
is.
who you all are. Like you're teaching them to be in tune with their whole self. Like it's a different conversation. But with your daughters, without being apologetic, you all are so intentional about educating from the little girl out, as opposed to like here are more things, more flowers, more dolls, more stuff. You're saying here, because when you talk about International Women's Month, you almost have them on a girls trip. Like, where you going to celebrate being a woman?
Mhm.
Because my father loved me so much inside of this way. Like if did nobody else love me, my dad loved me from ponytails to perms. Like I
Mhm.
am loved.
You know, one of the most profound things I heard is when we had oh man, forgive me for his name, the author, the brother, like 2 months ago.
Elliot
Uh,
Connie.
yes, when he said, "I just try to be a good enough parent." That resonated with me so heavily, man. And I understood exactly what he meant. And ever since that conversation, it just switched something in my brain to take the pressure off of myself. Like, listen, man, I may not be this and that, but we ain't even gonna talk about what I may not be. I'm fucking present. I'm present, bro. Like I'm present. I am active. You may not like me here. Days I don't see to here, I'll text them real quick, get a quick 30-second conversation, and that's fine, but I'm fucking present. You know what I mean? But I'm just let me just focus on being good enough. And me focusing on being good enough since I heard that conversation has made me feel like I've been even more than I used to be because I'm not putting the pressure on myself. Now I'm just like,
Mhm.
listen, man, I may not be able to buy you, you know, 2 baskets of chicken strips and fries at this volleyball tournament. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but I can get you one. And that's good enough, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny as fuck.
Whatever it is, bro. Like sometimes we gotta take the weight off and realize that, you know, if we're showing appreciation to the women in our life, the best thing we can give them is our honest, authentic self while being in the process of being better, man.
For
And
sure.
allow them to fucking see it. With discretion, obviously, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
allow them to see it, man. You
No, that's
know?
dope. I want to share one last story, fellas, and we're gonna wrap this thing up because we're getting pretty. I know you got to run. I saw something online today, and it was a couple. The girl was filming, and the guy was like doing some. They were making some content. He was like jumping out of the car, ghost riding the whip, hop on the skateboard real quick, and jump back in the car. But they were doing it in the neighborhood, and it was a white dude watching, and he comes over, and the dude's in the car. He's like, "Babe, get in the car, let's go." And she's, "No, I want to talk to him." He's like, "No, get in the car, let's go." And that she starts to go back and forth with the dude who came over, like, "What's your problem?" Like, blah blah blah. He's like, "Just get in the car." He yells at her, and she gets in the car, and he starts to bark at her, like, "Yo, like, why didn't you listen to me?" It's like, "What? I was just talking to him like that." But you don't get it. Because when he gets aggressive, now I got to get out the car and I got to check him, and you possibly get me in trouble, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yo, I don't think women in that regards, ladies, that's something to be careful, be mindful of. Like, no, man, yeah, we would love, we are, our duty is to protect you from the ruthless shit. Don't walk us into trouble.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Don't walk us into trouble because that's not what we want. And when and it was a white dude and a white girl or whatever, but like dude was like, yo, like you don't understand like what you're putting me in. Like when this dude pops off on you, it's my duty to come out here and protect you because you refuse to listen to me and tell you to get in the car. So now I got to scream at you. And she still was like going back and forth with him, like, okay, well, you don't have to yell at me. Like, no, you didn't get it. I was asked you to get in the car. I had to yell at you to get in the car. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, wow, like I didn't look at it from that perspective. But more often than not, when I find myself in situations like that, like it wasn't because the dude was violating. You know what I mean? Shorty kind
And
of. put us in a situation. Like if we ask you to go, babe, let's get in the car and let's ride.
Also, and this makes me think about Anaya. And this is a message to the women. The flip side to that is know when to allow us to protect you. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, because of her experiences in one household, doesn't know what it's like to truly be protected all around. And I think she questions whether her value of being protected. And when I have to, she gets mad at me for being her father and doing my duty. She gets mad and gets worried and stresses about the outcome, not realizing that it is my job, like you're saying, my duty to protect you. So I think women also need to understand that regardless of the outcome, I may have to ride for you and get my ass knocked out cold. And you may have to turn me on my side until I regain consciousness. However, that needed to happen. You needed to be protected to the best of my ability in that moment. And sometimes you may have to carry me. Well, hopefully never, but there may be a time. No, there fucking won't. But there it's a possibility that you may have to pick the nigga up and stumble him to the car and drive us both home, but also know when to allow a man to protect you. Realize that you deserve protection by people who want to do it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the key. Allow people who want to make sure you're okay. Make sure you're okay. It's okay to do that too. You don't have to be strong all the time or worry about his well-being and put him away. Use discernment, but allow a man to protect you as well.
And I think a lot of times, Pete, even if we don't want to, again, our duty is to do so.
Yep.
So when we step into that space, allow us to do so.
Yeah.
Because we're not looking. Most of us ain't looking for trouble.
No, not at all. And it's even to the extent where women, we don't. I'm not gonna let nothing happen to Anaya's mother. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I would never let. I would never. You just
And
can't.
protection don't always mean beating a nigga up either, though. Like when you got to pull up at the school and talk to the teacher because he wilding. That's protection.
Yeah. It comes in different ways, man. It does.
And you never consider though that your daughters are also operating from the lens of I probably should protect you from my father. I should protect my like you don't want to do
Listen,
this.
when
Let
I
me do this with you because if I get him in this,
My
I
kids
am
know.
ready to control his response.
so
Yep.
I
Let
think that's what happened today, but when I was like, "Do you want me to go in there and talk to him?" I think she remembers the last conversation I had where I had to like be like, "Yo, like chill out, let her talk."
because that's when you describe Anaya, I'd be like, well, it sounds like to me she's saying we good. I don't need, don't do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just know at any given moment, dad gonna do the thing, and
And ain't shit you can do.
ain't nobody like it sounds like your girls are so smart that they're like, nah, the people don't know you, but I do. Mama may not know you. I know my daddy.
And I
Mhm.
think P's a little more rough around the edges than I am. But
Yeah.
like, so the people know me, they know, Coach P, they know the nice guy, whatever. When I checked that teacher, she was like, "Dad, why did you talk to him like that?" I'm like, "I listen. Every now and then, you got to put somebody in their place because he don't get to speak to you like that. He
Yeah.
do that. He do
That's
that
my
with them
baseline.
other kids that who don't have fathers in their lives, or do that with them other kids who know parents ain't gonna come up in here. But I'm in the spot, and I email him. I email teachers every 2.5, 3 weeks. Like I'm 5 minutes away. You need me, call me, and I'm right there. So
Right.
they know. So if you
But
think you can talk to my child any fucking way, we got an issue.
imagine
Right.
you are instilling in your young ladies not just confidence but courage.
Mm-hmm.
Because people also have them move when they're scared, and then that builds on confidence. And you're confidently like taking them and putting them in experiences. So when they are navigating relationship, and maybe their father wasn't raised by someone who was clear that they were raising a husband, right? Your daughters don't have to like. Maybe the conversation also gets to be, don't stay too long. When you don't like what did who's that was that no it wasn't Asada. I think it was the statement is when love is no longer being served at the table, get up. When love is no longer being served at the table, get up. And I think the faster they know that, then they get to move and operate in a particular way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think
that's
you
fair.
all are teaching that. And so, and for women's, before we close out, and I know we got to go, can y'all, what would be a forwarding message, something that you would want to convey to your girls? Like, you talked about all the women in the family, but like when you think about your daughters, what is there something that you all would want to convey to like them? And this is not your checkout, but I don't want to miss this moment to celebrate also the women that you're raising.
I'll make it mine. So I'll make it my final thought.
Hold that thought, P. Hold that
Okay.
thought so I can get the final thought logo up. Go ahead, do your thing.
Bang. Um, I think my message would simply be trust me. That's it. It would be just trust me. Because if you can learn to trust me, the end result when it all clicks, um, when the light is shed, when you grow up, when you become more of an independent thinker, when you're able to reflect and make sense and rationalize as an adult, um, the level of confidence, gratitude, and self love you'll have for yourself will be so worth it. So just right now, just trust me. You know what I mean? Because you will never have anybody who is going to love you in the manner that I do. Mine is permanent. Mine is there's no other option. So that's what my message would be.
For me, somebody gave me a bracelet when my daughter was born, and it said, "Daddy, ellipsis, a daughter's first love," and uh, and I believe that to be true. But I think the message for me is, at this point in your life, you may not understand it, but at one point in your adult life, you will. And I hope that everything you've experienced makes you proud of your father,
Mm,
and know that I'm raising you to be the woman you are at that moment, and have that when I'm no longer here, you are exponentially powerful and without a doubt of in belief in yourself and capable of all measures. And I think that is my goal right now, to make you unstoppable. That is my goal. And another final thought I wrote down, P. Every episode we get a gem, we get a nugget. And you said plain and simple, sometime your behavior has reminders,
mm,
and that's bold. So please be mindful of that. And if those reminders pop up, ask yourself what you've done about it. And if you're in
mm.
and if you're in a different space. But
My final thought is really simple for the women that are listening, for the people that are listening or watching us, um, who are grown and beautiful women. I really want to just speak to the child in you. Um, I'm sorry if we hurt you. Please forgive us if you've ever felt neglected or betrayed by us. Thank you for honoring yourself. Thank you for your self care. Thank you for your love and your compassion. I would encourage you that when the little girl shows up in you, allow her to play, allow her to set you free. And when it's your turn to dance, I hope you dance.
beautiful song. Beautiful song.
That's it.
Beautiful song. Ooh, I like that, but that is a beautiful song. Beautiful song. I'm about to listen to that when we're done. Anywho, let's get to it. All social media outlets, all black men need therapy. Gmail, all black men need therapy at gmail.com. Hit us up with questions, comments, complaints, or concerns. We would love, 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 love to hear from y'all. Haven't gotten an email in a while, actually. So hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking. Voice line 860-410-6160. 860-410-6160. Again, our messages, our mission is to create a safe space for black men to openly engage in conversations around their mental health. And we do that every single week. I'm proud of you boys. I love you boys. And for those of y'all listen, please do us all a favor and hug a black man today
Do it.
and tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all.